You're watching a special edition of Pronews 7 at 10. The Pronews 7 Talk K2. Here's Jay Ritchie.
Good evening. For months now, you've been seeing reports about a substance called synthetic marijuana. It goes by maybe dozens of other names, but perhaps the most popular is K-2. And among the things you've seen, the devastating effects it has on its users, the different forms the substance can take, and what the authorities are doing or can do to minimize its effect. We have 4 panelists who will be answering the questions you've given us on our website or on Facebook or Twitter today. Our panelists are LaViza Matthews with Impact Futures, an Amarillo organization that's making more people aware of K2 and trying to pass tougher laws. Darryl Hersey of Amarillo, who has a family member who's been profoundly affected by using it. James Farren, the DA from Randall County, who's getting ready to prosecute a few K2 cases. And Roush with the Music Box, an Amarillo shop that has had some history marketing similar substances. Panelists, welcome, and thank you for being here tonight. The first thing I'd like to do, panel, is show you a report that we put together in the last few days, and then get your comment. K2, herbal incense, spice, some of the names that we saw in this Pronews 7 investigation. We worked with 2 local high school students to see how easy it would be for somebody under 18 to buy synthetic marijuana.
This place that we know it's off Planet X. It's off of Plainsville.
That is how easy it was for our 2 undercover teens to find out where they needed to go to purchase synthetic marijuana locally.
It's not called K2, man. It's called herbal incense. K2 is illegal. If you call it K2 and the cops say, they'll arrest you.
While visiting Up in Smoke on Western, we quickly learned the lingo and how to ask for the drug legally. After being referred by the Green Gorilla on Washington, we went to Planet X, the only smoke shop that our investigation turned up that sells herbal incense. Our underage buyers were carted after waiting in line behind 2 other customers buying the drug, and were told that you have to be 18 to enter the store by one of the employees.
Just say, have you guys got any K2 or herbal incense?
So we went back to see how easy it is to buy if you are over 18.
What do you guys got?
So if you want to sleep better or
I'll have in that chart. Oh, this right here.
Call 1-800-361-1564 for your free.
I'll just get $20 worth.
Dr. Feelgood's probably better.
Say what?
Dr. Feelgood.
Pronews 7 went back to both smoke shops, but were told that the owners were out of town.
Hey, we're with Pronews 7, and I wonder if we could talk to you guys about a little bit of this earlier today. No? We didn't buy it?
Oh, talk to us about it?
Yeah.
No.
Or is there anyone we can talk to about it?
Interviews or anything like that?
Is there anybody we can talk to about it or no?
Not right now. They're out of town.
Scott Brumley, Potter County attorney, tells us that his office is currently working on prosecuting misdemeanor cases of individuals.
We're a misdemeanor office. The cases we have are strictly possession cases, not distribution or possession with intent to distribute or manufacturing cases. Those are felony cases.
However, Randall Sims, the 47th District Attorney, says that it's not as simple when going after the smoke shops.
We've done a bunch of research on trying to figure out ways to address this issue, from looking at the tax code, the statutes regarding consumers' products, like identification of what's in the items as far as labeling. We've looked at a lot of different things to try to attack this and been unsuccessful in finding anything else other than the statute that's on the books.
I mean, I got to know that it's illegal before I can go in there. I mean, he's not going to give me a search warrant for your house because you're selling incense. Even though we associate K2 as illegal, I don't know that that's illegal. He's not going to give me a search warrant to go raid your house.
Sims says at this point they need parents to be aware of what's out there to make sure their kids are safe.
If they've got incense and they're not using it in their room, then why have they got it? But the parents have to get in this ball game. Or some kid's going to wind up dead from utilizing something that is not for human consumption, and it's going to be tough to do something about that.
Before we get the comments from the panel, there is a shop in town called The Smoke Shop. We're not implying that that shop is part of this case at all. They sell cigars, those kinds of things. But in this case, smoke shop equals head shop, those kinds of shops that would sell substances we're talking about here. Let's get your comments about that story, first of all. LaViza, anything surprising in there? What struck you?
I think it's tragic that it is still being able to be bought like that. That breaks my heart. And that's why we got into this fight in the first place.
And Darryl, you have a family member who used it at one time, may have permanent heart damage because of it, flatlined 3 times. So your perspective on this would be also good.
Well, my perspective on it is twofold. Because it was a family member and because I'm the youth pastor at my church, my kids can have access to this, not so much that they buy it, but somebody could buy it for them. So I'm very concerned about that, especially when there's one right in my neighborhood.
James Farren, we had a couple of law enforcement people in there for one thing, and maybe the ease with which it can be purchased. No surprise as far as you're concerned with that?
Well, all I can tell you is in Randall County, we're aware that there is a state law that makes it a crime to possess, manufacture, distribute this substance. In Randall County, if you do so and we have sufficient probable cause, we're going to seize the product and prosecute you. And we already have cases pending where we have successfully filed the cases.
Dale Roush, Music Box, we appreciate you being here. I know that there was history with selling it at one time there, but tell us what the shop went through to get to the point you are now and your reaction to that piece.
Well, I think it's very important that everybody's educated about it, because when I started to consult with the Music Box and it had to do with things other than products, I was made aware by LaViza Matthews and the Impact Amarillo people that came in. And then I started exploring this, and this was probably back in 2011 at some point there. And so the law was iffy at the time. Things changed. We sold it. We didn't sell it. Then we decided not to sell it to people over 21, I mean under 21. And so we have decided now we just wouldn't sell it. We quit selling it before the end of this year, past year.
Okay, we're off and running. That's segment 1. We'll come back with your questions from Facebook and Twitter right after these messages.
You're watching a special edition of Pronews 7 at 10, the Pronews 7 Talk K2. Here's Jay Ritchie.
Welcome back. One issue we've been talking about for weeks regarding K2 is an effort to get Texas lawmakers to pass tougher laws to deal with it. State Senator Kel Seliger of Amarillo told us the law enforcement community tells him it is a critical issue. Here's a brief summary of his position on it.
It belongs in the class with other controlled substances. Just because it's different or the chemistry may be different, the effect is the same. It's roughly the same thing that has garnered the attention for marijuana as a hallucinogenic, and so probably ought to be treated the same way.
That effort in Austin, panelists, leads to this thought from Stephen on Facebook. He said, "I'm so happy it's been banned in Borger. The city council voted on it this week. We have the toughest local laws in Texas concerning synthetic drugs." There's a couple of ways we can go with this. Why are some cities passing it and not Amarillo? Why are we going after a statewide law if some cities are doing their own thing? Maybe some perspective from you, Dale, first.
Well, I think that it's been a confusing situation over the past 2 years that I've been associated with the Music Box, trying to give them advice as a consultant about what should happen. Education is what it's at. Laws are always going to be passed. The enforcement of the laws are another thing. We try to make the people that come to the Music Box understand that they shouldn't misuse any product. Whether it's incense, we sell stick incense. We've sold that for years. I never knew incense was incense in this respect.
All that. James Farren, we've had you on stories before saying that you think the law that's on the book right now, nationally, statewide, whatever, is good enough. Tell me why.
Well, since if you possess a certain amount of this substance, you can be sentenced up to life in prison, 99 years or life. Other than death, I don't know what more serious punishment the state can create. And I don't understand how a Class C misdemeanor in Hereford is going to help.
I see. Darryl, from your perspective with a family member who's been hurt very badly by this, where do you think this is going and where do you think it should go legally, law-wise?
Well, I think first, going back to me and LaViza, we've always tried to educate the people. I think parents need to take a serious look at this. Start visiting the smoke shop, seeing for themselves, because it just seems like before epidemic happens or takes place, somebody has to be hurt seriously behind this before we get a epiphany to decide that says, oh, now we want to address it. Our goal is to deter and make it so hard for them to open the smoke shops or even stay in business, because if you hit their pockets, there's no need of being in business. So.
LaViza, were you satisfied with the Amarillo position? Do you think a statewide effort is going to be the right way to go with this in Texas?
I think what Amarillo did was wonderful. They used very strong language and created a resolution, and you can't really have an ordinance banning something that the state and the federal government is already banning. And so it really didn't make sense to have an ordinance. But the resolution is definitely a strong opinion, and we were able to take that to D.C. with us and to Austin and to show our lawmakers this is how Amarillo feels about this.
Good question here. Money. It's got to be money that's talking, that's driving this economy, this product, these sales, wherever they are going on in Texas or in Rhode Island. Elaine on Facebook says, my question is, how much money do these smoke shops make off this junk? Her words exactly. LaViza.
When we started this whole thing, January 2011, we went into, there was one smoke shop at the end of December, and in January there were 14 head shops. And we went in, and they didn't know who we were at that point, and we went in very non-confrontational. And they told us everything. They said, yeah, we're making 30 grand a day. And we have a 300% markup, so all of you guys who think you're getting a good deal, the drug dealer's out there to trick you.
Darryl, you were talking earlier with all of us about where you want to hit the pocketbook, maybe the people who own the property or rent the property. Would that work?
I think, yes, because for the simple fact that anytime anybody's cash flow is interrupted, it causes attention. I think that even the surrounding stores that are surrounding these smoke shops need to take a stand, because it brings bad influences. It brings some, not to be prejudiced or anything, but it brings some shady characters, and it deters from even the business owners. That you having these folks come in looking for this K-2 and everything else, that it hits their pockets too. Well, I don't want my pockets hit.
James, I think you said that you could probably seize the property that this activity is going on. You haven't quite done that yet?
Oh yes, we have. To my knowledge, there is no one operating a shop or a business in Randall County selling this substance now, because we've already filed cases against the people that we believe are doing that. We believe we can prove that. We have seized their product, we have seized their money, and as a result, they've gone to some other place to sell besides Randall County.
And Dale, as somebody affiliated with the shop, I guess those are good plans to go after the people who own the property, run the business.
I think it's a great thing to do. You know, everybody has to have a pocketbook hurt. At one time, the music box did sell this. We don't sell it anymore because we've become aware of the consequences of what can happen from it. It was a small part of the music box business, because we sell T-shirts and going to these other places, that's pretty much what you're going to find. That's how they stay alive.
Panel, thank you. That is segment 2. More of your questions coming up after these messages.
You're watching a special edition of Pronews 7 at 10, the Pronews 7 Talk K2. Here's Jay Ritchie.
Welcome back. I must tell you, not everybody who was invited to be on tonight's program said yes. A Panhandle family declined because they said they feared repercussions from drug users and gangs. And several smoke shops either said no outright or failed to return my calls about tonight's show, including the Green Gorilla, Up in Smoke, and From Rags to Riches. Panelists, I assume this alone shows how dangerous and controversial even talking about this substance is. LaViza?
Oh yeah, I've had these guys actually tell me, we know you're going to get us. We're just going to make as much money as we can till it happens. So they know they're doing wrong. I had one guy tell me he's building his empire, and I said, but what if kids die? They are dying. He said, oh well, stupid kids.
We're making money off. That's what a drug dealer would say, that, right? Just to get the cash out of the transaction. A lot of people have had this angle. 2 people I'm going to pick on here. Kara on Facebook. It's another reason to legalize, she said. Marijuana has never killed and has healing properties. Anything man-made and synthetic can cause real damage. And Sarah on Facebook says, legalize the natural stuff, the fake will disappear. Other people said, tax it like crazy, and we should be just fine.
So the K2 people have their myth, and the marijuana people have a different set of myths.
Not going to work?
No.
Not going to work.
The statements are incorrect. The statements are false.
Anytime you smoke something and you're smoking into your lungs, that's for air, not smoke. So that's my whole thing about marijuana.
Darryl, your comments on that, the marijuana argument?
Well, I mean, anything can be abused and taken out of context. So, with the saying legalizing marijuana because it doesn't kill anybody, one wrong doesn't make it right. So they're both wrong. They are not good for you. Period. So why make the argument of trying? That's like trying to do apples and oranges.
Probably time to get one more question in and an answer from all of you. We'll start with you, Dale. This is Jennifer on Facebook. Is a ban really going to work? Just like illicit drugs, if someone wants it, it'll be available somewhere, and usually banning a substance from young kids/teens makes it more and not less desirable. What do you think about that?
I think that's a possibility, but it really comes down to education. The Music Box has supported the efforts that LaViza and Impact Features Amarillo has made. By taking it off of our shelves, we don't sell anything that's an illegal product in our store. And I think somebody ought to support Impact Futures Amarillo to help them get this done, because it's going to come down to education.
James, is that argument Swiss cheese full of holes?
When we run all the people out of business who sell the stuff, then the kids won't be able to buy it.
Okay. No matter what is on the market at that time.
Exactly.
That stuff is bad for you, and get rid of it, okay? Darryl, talk in your answer with this, about this argument, talk about the effect that this has had on your family member.
Well, the effect is just he's not the same. He's a little despondent. He's now more recluse.
From one use.
From one use. And I think that the myth is that people think it's a chronic use, but all it takes is just one time. And then from there, it leaves life-ending effects after that.
And he has survived. We talked about cases where people have died from this stuff. At least he has
been blessed. He's been blessed, and he's functioning, but I just don't think he'll never be the same.
And LaViza, lastly, is a ban really going to work? Do you think that is the right answer?
The answer is, parents, please don't be scared to look in your kid's backpack. And this stuff, it is really addictive, but there is definitely hope. And as I was praying this morning, you know, my heart just says, there is hope. There is hope, and it takes all of us working together.
I may have you all back for a round two coming up in a couple of weeks, and that would be fine?
Sure.
Let's see if that happens. LaViza, Darryl, James, and Dale, thank you very much for being here, for your comments this evening. The weather is next with Brian James. Stay tuned.